This is Business Week Armenia, ＳիվիլNeթ's weekly economic news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia this week. Armenia's 1,000 biggest companies paid nearly $2.6 billion in taxes in the first half of the year, marking a year-on-year increase of about 9.5%. That is according to the newest top taxpayers list, published late last week by Armenia's customs authorities. The quarterly lists provide a helpful snapshot of the country's economy and the latest business trends. Mobile Center, Armenia's largest electronics importer and retailer, took the #1 spot, having paid almost $86 million in taxes from January through June. The company belongs to the family of business magnate Samvel Alexanyan. Grand Tobacco, a domestic cigarette manufacturer, took the #2 spot at about $80 million, followed by Gazprom Armenia, the local subsidiary of the Russian state energy giant, at just more than $73 million. Ardshinbank and Bank, Armenia's two biggest lenders, rounded out the top 5. The Zangezur copper molybdenum combine came in at #6, a far cry from its traditional spot at the top of the list. Observers say these latest top taxpayers figures highlight how vibrant Armenia's re-export business with Russia has remained, nearly 3.5 years since the start of the full-scale war in Ukraine. In response to that conflict, the United States and European Union imposed crippling sanctions on Russia. As a result, Armenia, a member of the Moscow-led Eurasian Economic Union, emerged as a key conduit for Russia's global trade. Historically, firms involved in mining, energy, and tobacco production dominated nearly all of the highest slots on Armenia's top taxpayers list. But recent years have seen a surge in the number of consumer goods companies and banks included as well. That reflects those sectors' increased profits as international trade with Russia is rerouted through Armenia and other nearby countries. Notably, Armenian tech companies do not typically appear in the top slots on the top taxpayers list, despite their growing importance to the country's economy, at least in part due to the generous tax breaks the Armenian government affords them. The top taxpaying tech firm, Digitane, has just paid less than $29 million in taxes so far this year. Armenia's government intends to grow exports by 70% by the end of the decade, earmarking more than $255 million in public money for the effort. That is according to the country's new strategic program for export promotion, approved by Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan's cabinet this week. In a press release, Pashinyan's office said the plan is aimed at building up a competitive and export-oriented business environment in Armenia by improving infrastructure and logistics, and offering financial support to exporters hoping to expand their business. The plan envisages the export of goods expanding annually to 10.4% to reach $10.3 billion by 2030, while the export of services would grow year over year by 7.8% to top $6.6 billion. Speaking at the meeting, Economy Minister Gevorg Papoyan acknowledged that Armenia's long-closed border with neighbouring Turkey remains a major obstacle to unlocking greater economic growth, floating the idea of initiating a conversation to use Turkish ports if the land border remains shuttered. As of now, Armenia's foreign economic relations remain highly dependent on Russia. Trade with Moscow accounted for 42% of Yerevan's total trade with the outside world last year. In contrast, trade with the European Union and United States together made up just more than 9% of the total. Armenia's biggest bank has confirmed it is looking to take over banking giant HSBC's Maltese subsidiary, describing the potential acquisition as a stepping stone to Europe's lucrative financial market. Ardshinbank has formally submitted an offer to buy HSBC Malta, Ardshinbank Deputy Chair David Sargsyan told the Times of Malta newspaper in an interview this week, confirming previously unconfirmed reports in the Armenian and Maltese press. In the medium term, 3 to 5 years maybe, we want to start going inside the EU using the Maltese operation as a hub, Sargsyan told the newspaper. SivilNet reached out to Ardshinbank for comment on the matter earlier this month, but the bank declined to comment. The potential terms of a deal have not been made public, and a timeline for a decision remains unclear. Lion Finance Group, formerly known as the Bank of Georgia Group, has also confirmed it is bidding for HSBC Malta's operations, among others. Lion Finance Group purchased Bank, Armenia's second biggest lender, last year for $303.6 million. Ardshinbank also expanded last year, acquiring HSBC's Armenian subsidiary for an undisclosed sum and putting an end to the London-based financial giant's nearly 3-decade presence in Armenia. HSBC previously announced plans to sell off a number of its subsidiaries around the world in an effort to, in its words, redeploy capital from less strategic or low connectivity businesses into higher growth opportunities. These expansions come as Armenia's banks continue to enjoy record profitability, together posting nearly $923 million in profit last year, according to the country's Union of Banks. That represented a year-on-year increase of almost 58% and marks the third straight year of exceptionally strong growth in Armenia's banking sector. In 2023, Armenia's 18 commercial banks reported about $585 million in profit, in addition to another $667 million the year prior. As of the end of last year, Armenia's banks held assets worth nearly $28 billion, while liabilities approached $23.4 billion. Each of those numbers was up by about 20% year on year. After the Kremlin's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in early 2022, Armenia quickly emerged as a key destination for Russian capital seeking foreign shelter. That has played a major role, observers say, in the rapid growth of Armenia's banking sector. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.